All right. I was having a little trouble with my microphone. Can you guys hear me okay? Hey, Arch. The tattling has already started. Yep. And I think I know why. So, quickly, I don't have the link for the murder sheet in the description. I know that Aspen Connor will be interviewing them here in about, I don't know, maybe an hour, 45 minutes. But I will have that link in the description very soon. Make sure you guys go check out Aspen Connor. We'll be out of here way before that gets going. Hey, Purdue. Hello. Thank you so much. Outside of the grid. Good to see you as always. I'm going to give it a few, let some people. What's up, Rescue? Patricia, hello. And V. Marie. Good to see everybody. If you have already heard the Murder Sheet podcast, go ahead and type a 1 in the comment section, in the chat. Good afternoon, Jessica. Forever Young. Sela Stingy. Tattoo. Slay the Ring. Steffa, hey. Sparky Dude, good to see you guys. True Crime Housewife, hello. For those of you who have seen it, what do you think? What were your takeaways? What's up, Rhonda? There we go. We got Aspen. The way I found it was, I think Wish TV Channel 8, they put out a special, and they actually play part of the interview on there, but they left the link in their article. I should have grabbed it. I posted it on my Discord, so if anybody can grab that and just post that link, that way you can go check it out. It's pretty interesting. All right, we'll hang out for about another 5 minutes, and then I'll go over what I have here. Thank you, V. Andrew says, I believe him about them not being able to corroborate some things he says. Yep, we're going to talk about that. That's a good point. He's a little skooky baby. Yeah. V. Marie says, I think KK is a liar trying to buy time, whom read every single word in all his documents. Could be. But he's definitely changing course. What's up, Tommy? All right, let's get going. Kill that. Catch up on the chat real quick. Oh my, I rewatched RM's video about the FBI profile. Nope, Wanda, you're just in time. Rhonda says he's a liar. Could be. I'm not sure about that yet. Well, we know he's a liar, but was he lying in his transcript? I think is the question. Art says, we also know how law enforcement is around there. Did they put in the legwork to track down and corroborate his information? They should have. Due diligence. V says, I think he would have already completely rolled on his dad, unless, of course, that info cannot be corroborated. That's true. And I think I know why he changed his tune. Let's go ahead and jump into that, because that's kind of where the interview starts. Looks like they start by mentioning Rick Snay from Delphi After Dark. You guys know who that is. It's Tony Kline's buddy. According to Rick Snay, or according to Murder Sheet, Rick Snay told them that Tony told him that Kegan was telling lies about him, and that if Kegan did participate in Delphi, he should get the death penalty. And for the CSAM stuff, he should get life. Okay. So what I'm thinking is, if TK had anything to do with anything, for him to come out and say that may have been a little premature. You know, he's not sentenced and he's not in prison just yet. But for you to come out and say something like that might change the tune, you know? And that's what it sounds like, exactly what happened. That may have upset Kegan. Sparky Doo says, I think he had a no shit moment. Reality check. Yep. Well, apparently for the first time, he's seen a lot of information and received a lot of info for the very first time, according to Kegan. Now, this could be a lie, but for the very first time today, he got a lot of info that kind of painted a picture that points to his father. And that could just be him upset by those statements, you know? He could be lashing out. Purdue says, I think he knew his dad used the account. I think he did know, but I think he was keeping, you know, he was being loyal. And I think he was convinced that for him to speak up wasn't going to benefit him in any way. And I think he bought that. What's up, Jaded? Julia Burns. Today, I don't think TK is involved. Keyword today. That's a good way to put it. Ask me tomorrow. My answer will probably change. Until then, I get more information. Yep. Hopefully, Kegan will be the one to confirm yay or nay. Slathering says, did they interview him? Yes. I just finished listening to it. I scribbled down some notes and wanted to catch you guys before Aspen puts them under the hot lights. Bogey says KK is a liar through and through. Well, he's definitely a liar. To me, the question is, was he lying about other people using his devices? Is he upset? Is he panicked? Is he trying to just throw any information out there, throw his dad under the bus because his dad said some mean things. Does he know Richard Allen directly? And both of them are just throwing information anywhere but at the truth. Who knows? Lakeside, what's up? Melissa, what's up? Arch says, I feel like I live in the Days of Our Lives episode. Yeah, where like the killer comes back, right? Yeah. Man, I grew up having to watch that crap. The killer always came back. Like they killed off somebody who got a part in a movie, and then his career never takes off, and then somehow he never really died or something. They were always coming back. There was always a twist. Jay Turner says Kegan finally got to read the transcript and realized by the end of the interrogation, after faking amnesia, it obviously to be had to be me. He ran straight to murder sheet after that to spin. Well, you think his defense would have already spun it. We've been talking about that for months, that they were probably going to spin that. And I think he's upset that they didn't. You know, he mentions in the interview, like, I know that you're court appointed and I'm not paying you, but like you have an obligation. Those are the words that Kegan used, referring to his attorney. Slay the Ring says it was supposedly very obvious TK wasn't innocent. TK 100% is involved in CSAM, in my opinion. Well, that's what Kegan's saying, and he's basically saying that's what the evidence shows. So maybe he can provide something further, and if they can, and if TK, I'm not saying he is, and I don't think there's really much pointing at him saying he's involved in the Delphi stuff. Definitely, he looks like he could be involved in the CSAM, but there's no evidence of that. But let's say he is on both of those. Hopefully, they can get him in the hot seat and kind of squeeze some new information from him, if that's the case. Kind of like what they were doing with Kegan, but it's almost like he has all this information, but it's like he doesn't even know it. Like he doesn't know that it's valuable information. It's just something that he was seeing on his day to day. All right, let's keep going here. Kegan said he was with his dad and was with him that day, so he knows I didn't do it. That's just crazy that he would say that. So that's a quote. I was with my dad. He knows I didn't do it. That's just crazy that he would say that. And this is my point. What if Kegan was just tagging along? Yeah, you're with your dad, but did your dad go anywhere? Did he see anybody? Did he leave you in a car and go do something? Did he meet with anybody? Was there any point in time where you guys were separated? Was he on multiple devices? You know, did he go out of, did he take a long drive? Like, yeah, I know you were with your dad all day, but what the hell was he doing? Something else Kegan said was, he said Tony was charged with some messed up stuff involving children. I see no records of that. I know he has like a stalking charge. That was a long time ago. That's all I've seen. So I don't know if that's what he's referring to. Kegan said he is in jail because of his dad. Murder She kind of asked him, what do you mean by that? Seems to avoid that question. Goes on. Kegan stated he is looking forward to prison and has been isolated from everyone for almost a year. No reason to stall. So Kegan's saying he has no motivation to, use any kind of stall tactic. Hey, what's up, Ruckus? Ruckus rocks. KK lies even if his life depends upon him telling the truth. Yes, TK equals KK's dad. Yeah, I would go check it out. It's like 30 minutes. The first like maybe 10 minutes is just their usual like filler, promotional, whatever. And then they give him a call. Miss Kitty, what's up? Purdue says the Klines are involved indirectly and or directly. We already know Anthony Schott's account is connected to Delphi per law enforcement. Yeah, I guess indirectly 100% if we're going to, well, I mean, it doesn't mean that the Anthony Shots was connected to the actual case. It could be just something, just like anybody else was communicating with her. May not have anything to do with the crime, but I don't think so. I think it has everything to do with it. This account, I'd like him to speak to what are his about 7 charges he is saying he's responsible for. Does KK get a redacted or unredacted version? He signals he is open to a deal and that he is willing to talk. Yes, he also mentions that he sat down with McClelland and he said McClelland is a nice guy. So he sat down to discuss the Delphi case and he says, well, I can't really go into all of that. But all I know is that McClelland is a really nice guy. Take that for whatever that means. And then it almost sounded like Kegan wanted to use a certain word. Oh shit! Now the word's slipping. Oh, recuse. He's like, my attorney used a word like and he couldn't remember the word. But I'm wondering if he's wants to recuse himself because that's not what the paperwork that he provided. He was not recusing himself. So I don't know if that's a word that he was throwing around, but if so, I think that that's interesting. Jaded empath. Who else do we have just walking in? Oh, Cheeks. What's up, Cheeks? Cheeks says, "What's up, Sleuth? I was actually in the middle of listening to that and saw your live come up. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Here, let me keep going with these notes. We're running out of time here. Okay. Kegan told the Murder Sheet podcast he received paperwork that stated his dad logged in with his email address on every single device with messages, hey, will you Skype me? Kegan goes on to tell them that there has only been one Skype account that is under TK. I thought I saw Miss Thing. Yeah, mods, don't, if you can, don't block anybody without letting me know about it. Because a lot of people have been getting blocked and I have no clue what's going on. Beating up his stepson. Ruckus says law enforcement has Kegan boxed in like a turtle's pecker. Would like to know if KK or TK purchased meth from Garrett Kurtz. Yeah, tomorrow in the members meeting, we're going to be talking about Nicole Bowen and Ray Hainish and Garrett Kurtz. You know, I still feel like there could be a curveball yet. Rhonda says, is he throwing his dad under the bus? Yes. On that note, let's continue on here. Kegan told his attorney, Achi, why has he not been given a copy of the transcript and that he was facing a 20-year sentence. I don't know how true that is. These are just things that he said. He was shown for the very first time the details from all the devices and a list of accounts and emails. So this is when he wanted to say, hey, I'm not guilty. Because this is when he was able to see that his father's email had been logging into every one of those devices. Kegan tells the Murder Sheet podcast that on Wednesday during his sentencing hearing, his attorney Andrew Achi told him, and I quote, we should have taken the 10-year plea deal. Kegan said he was not aware of any plea deal until that day. Now, that's pretty messed up. I do have to admit, that is some messed up stuff, you know? They asked, the Murder Sheet podcast asked Kegan, do you know Richard Allen? He said, no. He said that some podcast out there somewhere was saying that when he was about 10 years old, they lived up the street from each other. And he said, even if I did, you know, I'm a 10-year-old man, like I'm a 10-year-old kid. Why would I know an old man or an older man? Well, you wouldn't, but your dad might, right? Kagan said he was only pleading guilty because Achi convinced him it was in his best interest. Crazy. Yukio, baby KK wanted his defense to tell, and they wouldn't. Well, Kagan also mentions in this interview that well, actually, the Murder Sheet asked him, hey, do you have evidence? You know, is there any way you can prove this? And he said, yeah, I can prove it, but they won't listen to me. Julia, hey, good to see you. Does Kegan have access to a computer? If so, he has access to read his transcript because they are public. I hope not. What's up, Kevin? What's up, Martin? Anyone think if KK claimed innocence this whole time, he would be looking at TK sitting in the jail right now? I don't know. And I think Kagan tells half lies, just like he tells half truths. So all this stuff he's telling now is just his lie to cover up why he's been holding it in. I think if what he's saying is true, he's just lying about the part like, oh, this is new to me. This is new to me. But the truth is, he's always had this information and he could just be upset. I mean, you saw what his dad put up here. According to Rick Snay, if he participated in Delphi, he should get the death penalty. And for the CSAM charges, he should get life. Now imagine hearing that and you're the person knows that the person saying those very words is guilty of CSAM. Allegedly, you know, from our perspective. But if it's coming from Kegan, he's saying like, well, now it's completely obvious this, you know, I didn't do this. And there he is logging into the device. There's a conversation about going to Skype. Look at the Skype. It's under his name. So yeah, I think it's getting very interesting. And I think one thing Kagan's doing is he's learning, you know, he's coming to a realization here. And if he does have information, now's the time because nobody cares about him. All those people, if you're protecting anybody, they don't care about you at all. All right, let's finish this up here. Kegan also told the murder sheet that his attorney was upset to be leaving and kept saying how much time he had put into the case, things like that. Kegan also stated they never once sat down together as a team and went through the discovery or went through all the evidence. Never. Thank you, Inquisitive. I appreciate that. What's up, Curly? Yeah, I mean, I think he understands, like, hey, I'm about to spend the rest of my life in prison. The people that I've been protecting don't give a damn about me. This is my life. I can take responsibility for the 7 charges here that I did, and I should. But then again, he could just be lying out of his ass. He could be panicked. But that's not what I'm seeing. I think that he's a half liar. And then on the other half, he's being honest. He just doesn't understand what his best move should be. He's like between a rock and a hard place, I think. You are 100%. That's what he said, Lakeside. He said the prosecution didn't believe him. So they asked, the murder sheet asked him, do you have proof? Like, you're accusing your dad. You have proof, right? And he's like, yeah, but the prosecution does not believe me. So I wonder if he's bringing that information over to old Nicky Boy. Maybe they're going to be able to do something with it. Yep. Yeah, he claims he's not a pedo, but they found some pretty sick stuff. Yes. Yeah, let's go down to that. We'll finish on that note, Cindy. Thank you. Kegan plans to plead guilty, but is not responsible for all charges, according to him. And I quote, some of the stuff I seen in some of the images is crazy. I would never do stuff like that. It's just sickening. That's what Kegan says in the interview to the Murder Sheet podcast. He goes on to say, I'm not guilty of all the charges. One of the soliciting charges wasn't me. So he's not saying that he wasn't soliciting. He's saying that one of the charges wasn't him. He said maybe 7 of the charges were him. So that's a lot. And that could just be maybe he only wants to spend 10 years or he's only willing to spend 10 years. He's like, oh, it's about 7 charges. That's how much time, you know, if he is lying, for him, 7 is his negotiating number. But then again, he could be telling the truth. What's up, Jim? I think if KK tells the truth, he will be killed in prison, no doubt. Yep, that could be either the rock or the hard place. Good afternoon, Robin. Shout out to Indiana. What's up, Digital? 145 watching, 25 likes. Don't be a scrub. That's from Ruckus. And I agree with that statement. Jay Turner, KK said his dad logged into Skype on one device, only Skype. And what's crazy is everything that we've learned about these sextorters, these CSAMers, these catfish types is that's what they do. They use like a Emily Ann 45. They play a character of a 13-year-old girl online. They gain the trust of another 13-year-old girl, and then they say, "Hey, you should really go talk to my dad or my brother." And then they kind of groom these kids, and then before you know it, they kick them over here to the Skype where none of it can be documented. And that's even brought up in Kegan Kline's transcript as something that these predators do. So for them to be talking about that and for this to be something factual and it to be under TK, that's very telling to me. Bogey says TK is a chapter for himself. Yeah. And it might be the biggest chapter or somebody like that. You know what I mean? Not necessarily him, but somebody else that maybe we haven't heard about that's nearby, close by, somebody that's close to both cases. Something, the link, like a link. He also said Kayla from the Murder Sheet interview a while back was full of shit and didn't know her. He slapped Murder Sheet. Oh, I forgot. Thank you for bringing that up. He slapped a Murder Sheet in the face with that as if it was their interview. Riley Park story. No, it wasn't Riley Park. It was Foster Park. It was Foster Park, and it was in Kokomo. It's a skate park. And he goes, yeah, some podcast, some idiots out there made this podcast saying some story about this Kayla girl or this person I was supposed to meet. So he's saying that wasn't him either, which is very interesting because this is the same person that said I should slit your throat. Remember? I think we have a super chat. Sparky, thank you so much. Super sticker. I appreciate you. What's up, Frank? All right, we're going to hang out for about another 10 minutes. And then we're going to go watch Aspen Connor. He's going to have the Murder Sheet podcast on. Can somebody drop that link? Because we're not missing that one. Give us a chance to ask some of these questions there in the chat. Purdue is saying, really want to know if he had ever accessed the dark web. Also, if he knew Garrett Kurtz and or bought meth from Garrett Kurtz. Yeah, we know they like to do heavy stuff and then pass out. The Booty Bandits. That's a good one. And if there's any of you that have heard this interview, if there's anything I missed, let's spend the next 10 minutes kind of going over that in the chat. Because there's a few things I didn't get to. I just didn't want to cut into the interview that Adam's about to have. I just kind of wanted to give my 2 cents. Go get him, Tiger. Hey, what's up, Don? Yeah, this was just going to be a real quick one. Very interesting interview with Kegan. Looks like he's trying to flip on his dad or to put some of this on his dad. I don't know what he's doing. But he's meeting with McClellan about the Delphi case. He can't talk about that. He said he said Nicholas McClellan was a really, really nice guy. He's a really, really, really nice guy. I like the sound of that. I like the sound of that. Thank you, Purdue. There's the link, and I think he'll be getting started in about 15 minutes. V. Marie says KK new Murder Sheet held that interview. That's what I thought. I was like, oh, damn. Yep. I thought the same thing. That is hilarious. It's all some dumb podcast. telling lies, spreading lies. I was like, I wonder who he's talking about. And then he starts telling the story, and it's the murder sheet. And they got all quiet. That was funny. Thanks for pointing that out. Kevin says, I don't think KK was as big of a druggie as he claims to be. I think it's a tactic to use as a reason for not remembering. I bet he just smoked weed. I don't know. See, I want to know what the atmosphere was in that home, because it could have been a really, really bad place. At any point in time, you could have had maybe 5 or 6 different criminals in there. Some places are like that, man. Some places are just breeding grounds. And if you got a house full of like these creeps, I mean, who's to say you didn't have a Richard Allen running around there at one point in time? You know what I mean? And if Kegan can prove that Tony actually was using his Anthony Shots account and to get CSAM or to try to meet these people, this could be a huge break, honestly. Hopefully, McClellan will believe him and at least hear him out. No, they didn't pull the interview. I just think it's on one platform. I think it's an Amazon platform. Here's the link again for Aspen's upcoming interview with the murder sheet. Hopefully, they'll give us some more information or even some speculation. That'd be great. Like to hear things from their point of view. If you guys want to start heading over there now, it should be starting in 15 minutes. Very awkward. Carol Stanhope says, as a survivor of kidnapping and human trafficking, it's comforting to know that this is being busted wide open. Yeah, and it's a little upsetting to think that Achi, who is a high paid attorney, I mean, this guy he's swimming like Scrooge McDuck. You ever seen where he dives off the diving board into basically a lake of gold? That's what this guy's doing. So for him to just brush this pro bono case aside like this is really upsetting, especially if it could lead to more information to the Delphi case. It's a good question, Gil. I, oh, I always go back to Open Secrets interviews with him and him saying he was so high, he was out of his mind, he was trying to get to work, he was still in training. If he misses work, he's fired. Well, guess where he worked? He worked at Packers. He couldn't get a ride from anybody. Who's to say he didn't stop by Ron's to get a ride? Ron's not there. He's out at the dump. Yeah, a lot of questions with the Garrett Kurtz angle. Oh, we got a super sticker. Thank you, Sparky. I think I already got that one, didn't I? And V Marie. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. He claims he was at his grandma's and she wouldn't take him to work because he was too messed up on spice. Yep. And he sure talks about that case a lot like he talked about Ray Hainish. Like, I don't know why they're saying this. I don't know why they're saying that. You know, I don't know why they're accusing me of this and that. And then now look, the dude is charged with it. All right. Thank you. Yeah. So we'll hang out another 5 minutes and then we'll get out of here. Thank you, Sparky. I appreciate you. Yep. Thank you, Cindy. Kurt's also possibly homeless, sleeping in one of the sheds under bridge in that area at the time. It's a good question, Robin. I wouldn't even know. Oh, Kate says, I think Rick Snay is on the BG, is Ron Logan TK innocent wagons for notoriety and attention, even if it is negative attention, just saying. Well, the thing is, Rick Snay has a point when it comes to Tony Kline. Just because we can't hold the document in our hand doesn't mean that we don't have enough there to tell us, hey, don't become friends with the guy. So that's my only issue with it. But that's on him. You know, that's the reap what you sow moment for him. But I just hope that if they do bring charges to TK, he's not going to say some stupid shit like, "Oh, I was undercover." You know, I was doing undercover journalism, hoping that he would say something, and then I report him in. Because I'm not going to fall for that shit. Yeah, I hear that, Gail. You got to be whacked out on something. This account, KK was basically saying he was taking charges for others and he pointed to one other. So spill it if you have been protecting, it's past due. I agree with that 100%. Especially, and we'll end it on this, especially if you have Tony Kline telling, according to the murder sheet, telling Rick Snay that if he was involved in the Delphi case, that he should get the death penalty. Like, you're talking about your own son. The death penalty, and for the CSAM, he should get life. Okay, now imagine if you're protecting this person and those words come out of his mouth. I don't know if he's going to want to protect him very much longer after hearing some shit like that. That's just my opinion. If you guys could hit the thumbs up on the way out, don't forget to go check out Aspen Connor. He will be interviewing the murder sheet. I will be hanging out over there for a short while. But yeah, if you're part of the replay crew, leave a comment. We'll get back to you. Everybody who left me a super chat, super sticker, much love to you, and shout out to you guys. You rock. Peace out.